mission through the movieverse tonight. Chasing aliens, bad plots, and CGI that ain't quite right. Dave leads the charge with the captain's command. John's the rookie, still learning where to land. Shane drops beats that walk through time. Chad fixes tech with precision so fine. The Sci-Fi Guys. The Sci-Fi Guys.
It would help if I unmuted the mic, wouldn't it? Well, hello, everyone. We are here for another These Sci-Fi Guys. I'm Dave, and of course, you see on the screen, for those of you that are watching on YouTube, those of you that are audio, introduce yourselves.
I'm Shane. Good evening, everybody.
Okay, that all kind of went at the same time, so that was Shane and Chad. John, unfortunately, cannot be with us tonight. He is actually driving right at this very moment. So he was like, hey, guys, just go on without me because it's going to be way late before I get home. So as you can see on the screen, we are doing the movie Signs. So Chad picked this movie. Chad, let me move you over here to the left, and you go ahead and give us a brief plot summary or synopsis, however you want to call it, of what this movie was about.
All right. Signs is a suspenseful science sci-fi thriller about a former minister, Graham Hess, who lives on a farm with his family and discovers mysterious crop circles appearing in his fields. As strange events begin occurring around the world, the family must confront fear, loss, and the possibility of a extraterrestrial presence.
Really? Extraterrestrial presence. Ooh. So you had the minister gets to deal with E.T.
Yep, basically.
A little different E.T., but
just
right.
Slightly different.
Yeah. So what'd y'all think of the movie? Let's just go there overall. Tell me what you thought. Tell me what you liked, what you didn't like. Once I figure out, there we go. Yeah, I got to get my checklist up here in the corner. I can tell y'all, this was not exact. Nothing was what I expected on this movie at all.
I would agree with that.
Had no inclination because I didn't read anything about it. I just went on, just turned it on, put on my TV. It's like, okay, let's watch it. And it's funny. It seemed like, other than Mel Gibson, because Mel Gibson was fine, and it seemed like everybody else was someone's little brother. Especially that, it wasn't Macaulay Culkin.
Yeah, it was his brother.
It was his brother. And of course he looks just like him, other than the blonde hair.
Yeah.
Same mannerisms, same acting and all that, and I thought they did a pretty decent job doing the aliens when you finally saw them. I kind of liked the way they looked, because, part of me was like, oh gosh, when the movie started kind of taking form as it went along, I was like, this is going to be a total B movie, and it wasn't. It really wasn't a B movie, but it wasn't. Again, it wasn't what I expected at all. I don't know. I thought that they did a good job with the. I don't know if they used CGI or if it was practical effects. I'm assuming it was some CGI.
They used CGI. This was I think the director was M. Night Shyamalan.
Yes, it was.
But when you're doing some more research, this was one of the one of his earlier movies that was it was good, and people do say this was one of the three that was good, and all the rest of it started going downhill. But that's just opinion when you read.
Mm-hmm.
Shyamalan is a very great director. What he does and what he brings to this, he used with the aliens. He tossed around. He tried to use presence or the predator type illusion, like they were there, but you couldn't see them.
Mm-hmm.
But they also used They tried a lot of female body, like try to make it look like, because you think in Milwaukee, it wasn't a guy. It was not a woman. It was didn't know what it was. Couldn't tell if it was a man or a female.
Mm-hmm.
But
what
you gonna say?
I was just gonna say. I mean, I just thought it was weird that they immediately thought, "Oh, well, it was this such and such gang, is doing all this stuff," and it's like, well, you saw one, and that did not look like a dude, So
That's true. That's true.
True, but you gotta think with crop circles, they've been known to be hoaxed and done by men, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And even in this movie, it was designed that it was in your field could be done with rocks and boards to get it done what you need.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So Mel Gibson's character was still like, yeah, I don't believe this. I don't believe this. I don't believe until getting into the movie, so he started really noticing what was going on.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah, like for me, I this movie was all over the place for me. It really was. Shane, who directed the music? Because I thought the music was actually I thought it was spot on, especially at the very beginning when it was just that big orchestra.
Yeah.
Orchestra at the very beginning was just like, the bomb, and then it kind of like slowed up into like, you could feel it really did invoke an interesting feeling for me.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
So, who was it?
So James Newton Howard was the film composer, and he's done a lot. He and M Night Shyamalan have done a lot together. They did The Sixth Sense, they did Unbreakable, they did The Village, all of these things together. And one of the things that's very key with both of them is they create suspense extremely well. What was interesting with this one that I thought was that they did an amazing job of creating suspense without using music. There were long, extended periods where there was nothing.
Silence.
Nothing.
Yeah.
It was unscored. And when there was the music, it counted. Like you think about the scene where they're showing the image, and it's at the birthday party. He's watching it on the TV, and the thing first appears. You don't hear anything. Then when you first see the image of the alien, then the score comes in, and it's very impactful when it comes in. So they did a really good job of creating that suspense through lack of the film being scored, which I thought was very different, but I really liked it, and it really was very, very impactful. I felt like.
What movie was it that we saw beginning of this year that was this reminded me of it, with all the quiet and the suspense. Was it Prometheus?
Was he from the beginning of the year?
Yeah, it was Prometheus. Yeah, Prometheus.
I think it was Prometheus. Yes.
Yeah, I think it was Prometheus, where there was purposefully put silence in there.
Yeah,
I Am Legend was there too.
Reminded me of that.
I Am Legend too. Yes.
Yeah, where there was purposefully put there for a reason, so that way,
Yes.
It just it made you feel on that,
Yeah.
what was happening. I think that. Go ahead.
Because the thing is at its core, music is just as important. The sounds of music is just as important as the silence, and they can both be very impactful based on how you use them. And I really thought they did a tremendous job of really having those natural sounds when you think about all of the crickets and the birds and things. And even when they were missing, you could tell that the alien was drawing near and things. I just thought they did a really good job with when it was scored, it was impactful. But other than that, it wasn't. And I thought that was very good.
Yeah. So anybody else have anything else?
That's really it, I think.
As far as let's rate this. Let's rate it. Okay. On this segment, we're going to rate this movie on a scale of 0 to 5 lightsabers. Chad gets to go first since he chose the movie. And of course, obviously, we don't have John here, so we'll get his rating next week or next time. So, Chad, what do you rate this movie?
All right, guys, with this, it was a good movie. I remember watching this as a kid and love it. It was strange trying to watch it until you got into it and start figuring it out. And it just will blow. And I agree with Shane with this style of music or this low tones and very silence in appropriate places. It brought this movie to where is it actually a good suspense and thriller mixed in with sci-fi. So with that, I'm giving it a 3.
Okay, Shane.
So there is a lot to really appreciate as far as this movie goes. There's a lot of genius in this movie. I feel, well, that might be a little bit too big a word, but there's a lot of good in this movie. When you think about the storyline, it is very good. Really thought the actors did a great job. Mel Gibson, as he usually does, even though he's a little bit of a quirky guy, he did a really good job in this movie and telling the story. I'm not usually an M. Night Shyamalan fan, especially his later stuff. It just tries to do too much, and it's a little bit too here and there and off the wall kind of thing for me. But I think you have to appreciate what he did and how outside the box he and James Newton Howard were in this movie. I think you have to really appreciate that. So really, even though this is not really my kind of movie, there's a lot to appreciate in it. So I'm actually going to go at a 3.5 for this one.
Wow. 3.5. Oh, and then there was me. I'll tell you, I struggled on how to rate this thing. I'm still struggling on how to rate this thing because there are so many times where I was bored. I'll be honest. I was just like, come on. I'd rather watch Megaforce than this.
Oh, you mean fashion
wow.
the tinfoil hat for you?
That's saying a lot.
I really liked the premise of the movie of okay, aliens, all right, these the crop fields and all that. All right, that's interesting. The whole him being a father thing, okay, big deal. I didn't really get one way or another on that. That didn't really swing me one way or another. But when it wasn't suspenseful, to me it just drug on. I don't want to. Oh gosh, I'm over here. In case if my face looks really white, it's because I'm looking at the spreadsheet which is in white. And for some reason, it does not want to put it at dark mode. I don't know why. I think it was better than Mario.
It was definitely better than Mario. Definitely
better than Mario. Yeah, I've got to retcon that because that one I did way too low. What movie was that? You guys will probably hate me on this. I would I watch this again? No. I would not watch this movie again. I did not get a lot out of it. But again, I'm not going to rate it super. I'm going to go ahead and give it a 1.5. I liked the music a lot. I did like the suspenseful parts. I thought there was so many parts in the movie where I was just like, why is this in here? This is in here just so you can say, okay, he played baseball. That's how you got the bat and the baseball thing in the whole scene with them going to see the army guy, if you would have given me a credible story, like, he's tired of helping his brother or whatever, and then he's going to go talk to the army recruiter or whatever, that would have made more sense than just showing up and, you came home to help your brother because his wife was killed. And then now all of a sudden you're leaving again, things like that. I'm super big on plot holes. So things like that just really bother me. It's like, okay, you sort of told a good story, but at the same time, sorry, I hope I wasn't muffled there. But at the same time, you didn't. So again, that's what I want to. That's why I'm rating it where I'm at.
I get that.
Yeah. Okay. Let's go with these questions here, because actually these are going to be pretty significant, I think.
I think so.
Yeah. Okay. The first question is, what moral or ethical questions does this film raise about creation, life, or destiny?
I think it's big about faith. Number one, faith in hard times. And I think when you talk about Mel Gibson's character in the law.
Hold on. Let's go ahead and just skip to this one. How do the characters express faith in themselves and others, or in something beyond? Let's just jump to that one then and start it off with there. I think one of the things I had the biggest problem with, I mean, I get it. They wanted Mel Gibson for everyone to say, okay, he's a normal guy. And he blamed God because, I mean, he yelled at God so many times and all that. I think of our pastor, and when the stuff that he had to go through when he was trying to, when his son was born and then died basically shortly after, and he was mad at God and upset and was asking questions and all that, which ultimately, I mean, very similar to this. But I don't think he ever, he always asked God, what are you doing? What is going to come out of this? I don't think he got mad. What was that? I heard a beeping around here. I don't know what it was. Something was beeping in here. I don't necessarily think he got angry at God. He was just asking questions and he was upset. Unlike Mel Gibson, really got very aggravated with God and mad with him, instead of saying, okay, what good can come out of this? I guess because we've seen it on a personal level with someone close to us, that we can see the difference Hollywood makes their idea of faith and in real life. So what do you guys think?
Well, I'll take a little bit of the opposite thought. So I think that with Mel Gibson, the thing about it is that when you really think about it and you watch it to the end, he really did not completely lose his faith. There at the end, you could see he really kind of turned back around to it. He really struggled with the fact of his wife dying. And I think that you could say that it always was in there. He always did believe. It's just like you talked about. When there's difficult times, it's going to do one of two things. It's either going to draw you closer to God or it's going to push you away. And I think that with him, for a time, it did push him away some, but he always, in the back of his mind, he always kind of thought that, well, maybe it's still there, but there was so much hurt that it kind of built up some bitterness within him that he kind of had to get past. And bitterness is something that can really take root, and it can really mask what is true. And I think that bitterness with him, he made him think that God was not good when he really was, and he knew he was. He had to get past that.
Yeah.
I agree with that, Shane. I couldn't say better. We look through the premise. Yeah, he was a pastor. He was a pastor going and lost his wife. But if you look through the house, you saw shadows where the religion was there, like wall about the stairs. You had to cross.
Mm-hmm.
And Shyamalan always panned out where he saw the cross. When he's driving into town, he saw the parking lot look like a cross. It was prevalent in there.
Yeah.
And I could say much more what Shane just said, that it was more focused with him than it was with his family. He never he just faltered just a little bit, like you would. Like I've experienced loss in a similar way, where you either draw near or you want to draw away and kind of be sheltered yourself to get right before you draw near, and so you're always going to come back near to God. And that's what I think he was doing. He lived out in the country on the farmland, did crops, not because of that. He was probably doing that with his wife. It's just that just gave him more sense of purpose. I'm going to focus on my farm than my flock.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I just think they could have portrayed it a little differently, I guess. To me, if you want to do it, if you want to see the transition, from okay, I think at the beginning it should have been, all right, he's really angry because like maybe it just happened, and then you see it as he's going along start to come back to his faith.
That's true.
Rather than it seemed like he was getting angrier and angrier and angrier, and then all of a sudden
it flipped. Yeah,
it flipped, and it's like, oh, wait a minute now. I mean, that possibly could happen, But
yeah.
I think to tell a better story,
you needed more of a sequence.
Yeah.
Well, I think also that there's a big difference between questioning God and being disrespectful. And there were a lot of times that he was being very, very disrespectful in the way that he was talking, especially when he was talking about that, about the I hate you, that kind of thing.
Or even that, I'm not a father anymore. You're a priest. Once you're a priest, you're a priest. I mean, once you're a pastor, you're a pastor. So,
I had a pastor once tell me, and I think he's absolutely right. It's like God is big enough to handle the tough questions that we ask. And there's nothing wrong with asking, why is this happening? What is the purpose with this? There's nothing wrong with that. But it's always in a reverent and a respectful manner, which is the line that he crossed. And I think Dave, you're right. It needed more of a trend towards where he was finding his faith little by little versus just being angry and angry and angry, and then bam, it flipped. I think it needed that for the storyline.
Yeah, I think so. What was the other question that I did earlier? What moral or ethical questions does the film raise about creation, life, or destiny? I think the whole part about his wife's death, that or which was a focal point of the movie of why he ended up losing his faith for so long. I think that was a big factor of it, is that life happens, everyday life. I mean, you see parents lose their kids, you see, accidents, car accidents every day. You see people get cancer, people get whatever, lose jobs. I mean, I think back when COVID happened and everyone had to basically, like we're doing, talking on screens, that's the only way of communication we had.
Right.
And, what that did to people that couldn't physically, meet other people, and actually hang out and talk or whatever, that you had this barrier in between things. And I think the movie really portrayed that a lot, of that there was a barrier in life. Like it was like her life before, then this is all the stuff we're dealing with now afterwards.
Yeah, I agree with you.
Yeah.
And of course the whole asthma thing. I think that was also part of it is, he never understood why his kid had asthma, and all the things. But then at the end, if his kid didn't have asthma, although I'm not really sure that's how it works, but if, for the movie's sake, if his kid didn't have asthma, he would have inhaled all of that stuff and would have killed him. Yeah. So, I think that's a kind of one of those destiny things, that, well, if he didn't have this, then this would have happened. But because he had this, you need to celebrate and enjoy it because it's what saved him.
Yeah. Well, it raises the point that all things are for a purpose.
Yeah.
All things are for a purpose.
Yep. And I forgot to add this. Let me add it real quick. Ready?
Fix it.
Indeed.
That's right, Teal. Indeed, we can fix this. And we've already pretty much started that already with some of our conversations before this. I think that the story would have been better had it had the mother's death happened right then, not like 6 months ago. And then maybe even have the brother struggle. I mean, if he's struggling to help and all this and wants to get out, kind of have something there. I like the fact of the whole suspenseful alien, and it wasn't aliens in your face all the time. I did like that. I thought that part was done well.
Yes.
But I think there could have been better interaction between the father and his kids, and his brother. There was something there that was missing, and I really can't put my finger on it.
Yeah.
I mean, so
yeah.
I think Chad, go.
I mean, I agree with you, Dave, with either show when the wife died, and if they wanted to, okay, I don't want to spend after a couple of weeks after, all right, 4 weeks, 2 months gone. Fast forward it just a little bit, kind of. All right, he's just now getting settled into his rhythm without his wife. His brother's there, and in that way, you pick up where his brother is like, okay, little tensions between him and his brother's going on. That way, you're not just like coming in like, oh, there's already been tension here. Why is that?
Yeah. I think that would have been good. I mean, and maybe even have him at a staff meeting at his church saying, I am giving up and then if you really wanted to have like a big, powerful moment, that could have been like, God did this to my family. He did this to my wife. I cannot serve him anymore, or something like that. And then have him stepping away not in front of like the congregation. I mean, I guess you could do it in front of the church or whatever, but I think that would be kind of lame. But like talking to the other priests or whatever, because usually there's not just one priest at a church. So have them all, discussing it. And they're like, well, wait a minute, you need to think about this. And then just, fade to black real quick, or, he's walking away or whatever. And then later you can see the transition of him coming back to faith. I think that
was he actually I don't think he was a Catholic priest. I think he was
a Catholic priest. Yeah.
Then he wouldn't have a family.
Look at the collar. The collar he was wearing.
He wasn't having a family then. That's the plot hole right there.
Yeah. There's different kinds that'll still wear the collar.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure they'll still wear the collar. That's not necessarily a Catholic priest.
Yeah.
I always thought it was a Catholic priest because, but
I think Episcopalia or
maybe,
and or it could be just that church. Hey, we require you to wear this, and the collar just kind of represents yourself from
could be,
yeah, or even change it where he's not a pastor or something, and just. And then if you want to have how he's changed and, before, although I think you kind of want to have that. But I just think there was like unnecessary scenes, like with the girl needing to tell her sins to him. That's why I kept thinking it was Catholic, because I was like, I don't know very many places where you have to confess to the priest and they kept calling him father. So
yeah.
I grew up Catholic, so that's that's why I kept thinking, oh, this is Catholic, But.
Well, I was just pointing out that you can't. That was with the Catholic priest is the vow of celibacy. Like, I'm doing this so he wouldn't have a family. That would have either been his brother's family there with him, and he still wouldn't have a wife. So if they would have done that, the brother should have been the one who lost the wife, and he was there to console them, not opposite way around.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
Well, in the Roman Catholic Church, priests typically do not marry, but there are, like the Eastern Catholic rites. It says they are allowed to marry before they're ordained priests, but they can't marry after they're ordained.
Gotcha.
Then you have converted clergies, which are basically they're Christian originally, then they convert over to Catholicism.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so it's interesting. It just depends on which version of Catholicism you're talking about. So, you're right. Actually, I mean that's just one of those weird points in the movie of maybe since we're in the fixing phase here, don't make him a priest, don't make him a father, just make him a pastor.
True.
There you go.
True.
There you go. That's an easy fix right there. Boom.
Mm-hmm.
Look at that. We take care of business. We get it.
I fix it.
Although the visual, the collar, makes
it's more universal.
Because you notice that was one of the first panning shots they did was him and his family. He had the collar on in the picture.
Yeah.
So you're like, okay, there's going to be. I mean, I knew from that point on. I was like, okay, something's going to happen here where, there's a reason they're telling us this right at the very beginning.
Right.
Yeah. You
hear it in the background. So anyway, we're gonna go ahead, and I think because I think Chad's got his hands full there. So we're gonna sign off here. Hey, make sure you guys watch next week. We've got a very special show. We actually rearranged our schedule to make happen. So
that's right.
Until next time.
Crash and burn.
The Sci-Fi Guys is an independent broadcast and is not affiliated with this movie or TV series. We would love to hear from you. Please contact us by leaving a comment below or by emailing us TheseSciFiGuys@gmail.com. Like, subscribe, or share this podcast with someone else who enjoys science fiction. Subscribe or be vaporized.